Welcome back, everyone. This is Linda Bennett with Metaphysically Speaking. You can contact me with your questions on metaspeak.com, on Facebook or the web. And if you're interested in a consultation or you have suggestions that you'd like to see different topics covered on the show, please call 727-736-4567, or again, private consultation, or you've got show ideas. I'd be delighted to hear them. But keep your message short, because I've shortened the time that you can speak. Because some of you were leaving me your entire life story, and I was falling asleep listening to them. So be brief. Okay, we've got some more information here. This past week, we had the tragedy out in Wisconsin with a crazy skinhead. And if you want to be a skinhead, you've got to be crazy or uninformed. Hopefully, if you were raised that way as a child, you grew up out of it. Interestingly, the show True Blood, which I think we talked about on another program, is dealing with politics this year, how cruel people can be, and how the people who think they're going to take back America from these immigrants and these people who don't belong here, how crude and cruel they really are. And they were busy. Now, I think the show is a little loopy, but nevertheless, it makes some really good points. There's something called shifters. Certain Native American cultures think, and certain South American shamans think, shamans would be the priest or priestess of the community, if they take a mind-altering drug or a little bit of curare, which is from the dart frog, which is poisonous, little minuscule amounts of it, or certain types of plants and mushrooms, and they go into a hallucinogenic state, that they become the animal. They don't become the animal. They might assume the animal's posture, but an animal's spirit will join them, and they can think the way the animal does and get a wisdom from the animal's perspective. You do not physically change into an owl and fly away. But this show is calling those people shifters. Then, of course, they've got the standard vampires, and then they've got the standard werewolves, but you don't get bitten. They don't bite anybody. It's genetic. Which I think that Twilight thing, which I saw half of one of those movies, and I thought, this is vomitous. I can't stand it. They bit you. But then, for vampires, but then if you're a werewolf, it was genetic again. Okay, it's not true, but nevertheless, interesting point. The thing I'm interested in talking about is the shifters. Because these people are going to take back America, like the Tea Partiers, from the crazy people and the immigrants and the guys who don't belong here. Keeping in mind, we're the immigrants. The Indians were here before we were. We're going out and shooting people they decided weren't human like them. It turned out they were wearing Obama masks, face masks, to disguise their identity, and shooting and running. When they discovered who they were, it turns out it's one of the town's former sheriffs, his vile creature of a girlfriend, and all the good old boys in town. Because they wanted everyone to be normal like them. And I am using a southern southwestern accent because it takes place in Louisiana. It turns out the people that wanted to bring back America were worse than the people they were trying to knock off. How fascinating. So this skinhead that went into the Sikh temple decided to shoot people because, number one, I think he thought they were Muslim. And he was going to get even for 9/11. And get rid of all those damn Muslims that don't belong here. And if I hear one more idiot say Obama's really a Muslim, I'm going to go wacky on them. The Obamas are Christians. I'm not sure what denomination, and I don't care. And you all love Dr. Oz, and guess what? Dr. Oz was raised in Turkey, and he is Islamic. His wife is also taught him meditation and yoga. He's a vegetarian. The whole family is vegetarians. They're very happy and loving people. And that's the way most people are in their different religions. We've got the fringe environment. Let me explain the Sikh religion to you. They were originally Hindu. And you may or may not know, if you're listening to my show enough, that Hindus are people who believe in all forms of God. Angels, Krishna, They acknowledge Buddha, Avalokitesvara, some people call her Kuan Yin. They have people who follow the snake cult, which comes from the understanding of the Kundalini energy that flows up and down our spines. The Chinese call it Qi. Prana is what we yogis and Hindus call it. Life force. It's your soul. Travels up and down the spine, and they used to call it serpent power because they couldn't think of anything else that could coil around. The Hawaiians call it the vine power or the God connection. They don't have a differentiation between us and God. They don't think of God over there and we over here. They think of God as part of us and we as part of God. But they use vines because they didn't have snakes. Bless their little hearts. They didn't have snakes on the Polynesian islands where they were from. So Sikhs are people who used to follow the Hindu faith, and about 500, maybe more or less a few years ago, they decided to break off because they wanted to be monotheistic, meaning in one aspect of God, one energy field, or if you look at George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, the Force, the light. So they believe in a one God energy, the complete equality between men and women, the complete equality between wealthy and poor, and that the wealthy's job is to help the poor. The poor's job is to allow themselves to be helped and then to turn around and help others. Complete peace, no war, and harmony between all living creatures. Not a bad thought. My best friend's dad helped found the Sikh temple in Flushing, Queens, which was interviewed the other night on CNN. Her dad was considerably older. I'm not sure exactly what year he did this, but he was one of the founders. They wear turbans, but they're more hat-like than the turbans worn by Muslims. And they're specially formed. They come off and on the same way, like you're putting on a regular baseball cap or a chapeau that you would wear to church on Sunday. And they wear beards, some of them a little longer, some of them a little shorter. They don't cut their hair. I don't know why. Women do not have to be veiled. They're not supposed to be veiled. They usually wear saris, which are those beautiful outfits that women wear, the silk tops and the long silk skirts, and then the wrap that goes around a shoulder, sort of like the Buddhist monk style. And they help in their communities. They're kind to animals. This is a nice way to live. And this crazy guy goes in there and starts shooting. Well, I am not one of those people who happens to believe, by the way, that guns should be banned, because if you live anywhere where there's wildlife and snakes, you need a gun. If you're going out in nature where there are bears and mountain lions, you need a gun, because you just can't talk them down. If something leaps out and tries to attack you and eat you, you want to be able to shoot it. And those are not the people who are running around killing people, invading temples and shooting people. And apparently this guy was also in several bands that had racist, hateful music. I've not heard any of those bands. I don't care to. But if you're singing about killing others and killing people because you think you're better, you got a whole lot of karma to explain.